guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we got a delivery of a 3-tier rolling trolley which I've been after for ages, so I can actually organise some of my art stuff because the drawer that I've got for it is overflowing completely. So I'm going to attempt to do a semi-vlog style video where we try and put this together and organise it. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so as I said, I've been after one of these for ages, and honestly I mean ages, like a good 7 or 8 months, just because they're just so handy to have, like especially this one. So I got this one from Hobbycraft. It was £25. I know you can get them from other places, so like in England obviously you've got IKEA. I mean, IKEA is pretty much everywhere, but you have got IKEA and you have got other home deco places where they will sell these as well. But for me, Hobbycraft had the colour that I was after, which is pink, because as you can probably tell, I do like pink, and also it was rather cheap. Honestly, I paid £25 for it, and that came with free delivery, and it came within 7 days, which honestly isn't that bad. So yeah, I would honestly recommend it. It comes in loads and loads of different colours, so if you don't like pink, don't worry, you don't have to have it in pink, but it is super handy, and not just for organising art stuff, but also I've seen some people use them as to be read piles for books. So some booktubers will do that, and then you've got other people that will just have them in their room just for whatever they need it for, trinket wise or bits and bobs, just because they are just super handy. Because they've got wheels, they're easy to move around, so no matter the size of the room that you've got, they're not massive, so they're not going to get in the way, and because they do have wheels, you can just move them around. Like, it's super easy, they're not heavy. So yeah, really convenient, which is kind of what I was looking for. Like, I do have a decent sized room, but my room is my art studio at the same time, so it's kind of, I find it frustrating, especially when things aren't in an easy to access position and when my room's messy. I really don't like it. I find it's a bit too, almost like claustrophobic in a way. But for me, I like having everything organised, and so I've been after one of these for a while just to help me organise my room and make better use of the space that I've got. So this will make it a lot easier. In all honesty, I will say that actually putting this together was really easy. I was kind of worried because I'm not the best at putting this sort of things together. Don't get me wrong, I've moved around a fair few times, so I'm used to doing IKEA flat pack stuff, but I'm still a little bit like, oh, whenever I think about having to do anything DIY. But honestly, it was really simple, very clear instructions, and there's no like screwdrivers or anything like that needed. They give you everything you need, and I think in all honesty probably took me about 10 minutes maximum, I would say. Apart from, honestly, the longest bit is the wheels here. So like the next one that I'm about to move on to, that took me forever. I was turning it, realising that I was only turning the top part of the wheel. Because it is a roll-in trolley, you can move it in all different directions, so the wheels spin on their own. And I realised I was just spinning the top of the wheel and not actually putting it into the metal. So yeah, but you know what? If you're not like me and you're not completely clumsy and dropping stuff all over the place, then I'm sure you'll do absolutely fine. And even if you are clumsy, as you can see, I managed it, so I'm pretty sure you can too. I love the sizing of this thing. I think it's just gorgeous. Okay, so it's put together. That was way easier than I thought it would be, which is good because I'm not very good at this sort of thing. But it's gone 1:30. I'm starving, so I'm going to go break for lunch, and then we will sort out what's actually going to go in here and empty out that drawer and just sort out all my art supplies. And I'm really looking forward to it because I love this sort of thing. But I will see you in a second. Okay, so technically lunch took me like an hour. I actually only even had soup for lunch, but yeah, I was pretty lazy. And honestly, the thought of sorting all this out was a bit like, oh my god, I don't know. I hadn't even thought this through. So I ordered it all and I was like, but I had no idea what I wanted on it and where. So I was kind of like just making it up as I went along. I knew that the drawer that you saw me emptying, I only wanted that filled with paper, simply because the drawer underneath is full of my magic cards and that's overflowing, so I could do with a bit of extra space. So yeah. But emptying those drawers, I realised I had loads of random tubes of acrylic paint, but that won't fit into the wooden box that you saw, which is full of my other acrylic paint. So I was like, oh, for God's sake. So I went through that box instead, took out some of my favourite paintbrushes and made up that little travel case that you saw me just fill in there. That's super handy for on the go. I recently got that from Thailand. Well, I should say, actually, Damien bought that for me. Super handy. Really like that. Then I was finding things that I didn't even realise I had, like this pencil case, and it was full of random old pens. So I was like going through that. These are actually makeup brushes that Damien bought me ages ago. They're Harry Potter ones, and I would use those when I was using pastel work to blend the pastels instead of like using my fingers, because honestly the amount of skin I'd rub off on my fingers was unreal. So I found that, and honestly you can never have too many pencil cases. I just think they're so handy. You can use them for so many different things, and it's a great way to get rid of boxes of things. So like you saw me emptying my Reeves gouache into that other one, just because it's so handy. I really do appreciate having pencil cases. So one of those things that you just, you can never have too many pencil cases. But yeah, so I'm constantly fiddling around with this, trying to work out what I'm doing. Some old stuff I did get rid of, so like an old set of pencils and stuff, I'll just give those to my brother. And I did actually decide to take all my poster paint out of the Pokemon box that I had, just because it is a bit big and unnecessary. I use my paints a lot, and as you saw at the start of this, I couldn't actually open that lid all the way, so I know that would just get on my nerves eventually. So I thought I may as well just empty it, have it on there so it's easy for me to access and get hold of. Plus, it looks really pretty with all the colours lined up. Like, I really like it. And then I was just debating between some of the older art supplies that I am going to keep hold of and that I just don't really have a space for anywhere else in my room, so they all kind of get deposited in the bottom there. But yeah, honestly, really pleased with this. It holds quite a lot, which I was quite surprised at. And yeah, I found some random things I didn't even know I had anymore. Okay, so we are pretty much done now. So this drawer, which used to be ridiculously full, is now so much better. It's just filled with my paper and my current sketchbooks, so I'm really happy with that. I still have my camera stand and my acrylic paints down there just because that wouldn't fit on. Obviously they're bigger things, and I'm happy with keeping that there. And then on this first tier we've got my two gouache paint palettes, my watercolours, and then I've got my excess Reeves gouache because that's the paint I use the most for like my sketchbooks and stuff. Then I have my pens, spare pencils and rubbers and sharpeners, and then my current favourite paintbrushes, a couple of mechanical pencils. So this is something I can just pick up and go, and it's pretty much got everything self-contained. My book where I plan out all my YouTube videos and make notes. So this is like the stuff that I'm going to be using the most. Then we've got my Winsor & Newton gouache, keeping that in this box. My Sakura poster paint, I thought about keeping it in that massive Pokemon box, but I just thought it's a bit unnecessary. I need to get probably a new one because it's like covered with paint, but the towel that I used to clean up any mess for my watercolours, spare paint palette, and then just some masking tape and masking fluid. And then at the very bottom are things that I don't really tend to use, so I've got my watercolour pencils underneath this, my pastels, and then spare acrylic paint, the neon acrylic paint, another paint palette, some spare soft pastels, and then excess pens. And then I always keep bottles of water here because sometimes I forget to go downstairs to fill up my jar with water, so having a bottle of it just makes it easy. When this gets low I'll refill it. And then a load of tissue just because that's better for working with it on sketchbook rather than using the tea towel, but yeah, at least I've got both. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. Hi guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly different video of just like organisation, but it's the sort of thing that I like. Anyway, I'll catch you in a couple of days for the next video. Until then, keep safe, and if you did like this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.